the darkest of nights, when the moon's up high, there's a man with a talent, a spark in his eye. He's got a wicked creation that's one of a kind. With his 3D printer, he'll blow your mind. Frightful Forge, his name speaks for itself, printing monsters and ghouls straight out of hell. From skeletons to witches, his designs are supreme. In the realm of horror, he reigns supreme. Frightful Forge, he's the master of fright. With his 3D prints, he'll keep you up all night. Spooky creatures crawling out of his machine. Frightful Forge, the Halloween scene's new king.
Hey, assuming everything works out well, I am GM Dan with Frightful Forge, a subsidiary of Gamersledge, the nerd everything community. We are here tonight running Journey to the Radiant Citadel, which will eventually become Spelljammer. It is a 5e live play podcast, and we've been running through these modules. We kind of got ourselves into a little bit of trouble last week. Not really trouble, but lots of research and figuring out what's going on. The crew has been chasing a curse that looks a lot like a disease that causes people to be very cold, and eventually die. It's like it's like somebody got the flu and then died really quick after that. Sorry, there's a couple of different things going on right now. We've had technical difficulties tonight as well. So they chased it to Sansatlan, the city at the center of the area named Sansatlan, which is an industrial city, a lot of different types of architecture they haven't seen before. And through searching and talking to people during the Day of Remembrance, which is a large festival in which people, family members, and friends that have passed can come back as spirits or skeletons, often very decorated skeletons, to come and share these moments with their loved ones. It ends up being a giant party, multi-day party, and none see it better than those living in Sansatlan. So the group arrived, started investigating where the curse might be coming from, who might be responsible, and they pulled together a lot of different information to make their way to a manor complex, a housing that used to be a large manor that has been divided up into smaller apartments, and one of which has the lady Doña Rosa, who is a grieving mother and widow. They found that across the several blocks that they were investigating, they found that years ago there was a sorcerer named Orencio who made a pact with a demon, Pazuzu, that would cost him something having to do with his child. Orencio, knowing at that moment he had no kids, made the deal, but it may not have been as clear cut as he thought. Shortly after making that deal, Orencio was caught by the populace of Sansatlan and was executed for his crimes. Didn't end there, though. There's plenty in the cult still, and all of it ties back in some way to Doña Rosa and her son, Serapio. There are a lot of names, as we discussed in great length last episode. A lot of people that we're trying to keep track of, and a lot of names we're not familiar with. So we will be working on it. But as we pick up tonight, the majority of the crew has arrived in some way at the manor, and both Sibo, our enterprising goblin, and Kek, our insectoid fighter, are nearby talking to Doña Rosa. Sunshine found himself distracted, rushing off to an ongoing wrestling match as these children were kind of pulling him that direction. And Prudence was making her way to the stairs down below to go up to the second story where these talks are taking place. Missing from that number, though, was New, our human chef, and we'll be starting off with him in just a moment. But before we get any further, let's introduce our players. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Mark, playing the human chef New, and I know none of what Daniel just said.
Hi, I'm Prudence. I am playing the Tiefling Bard. And my name's Naomi.
I am the Crow Dad, and I'm playing Kek, the Thrycreen Fighter.
Hey everybody, I'm Jim, also known as the Harlequin Jack. I am going to be playing Sibo Bottle Pop, the Goblin Alchemist.
All right, and the one person we have missing from our number, who'll be in just a little bit, is Andres, and he is playing Sunshine, the half-orc monk. Oh,
Say his name and he appears.
You say his name and he appears.
Just in time to
I
introduce
believe in
himself.
Sunshine King Spirit.
It is Sunshine King Spirit. Very good.
Yeah, do the
and
It is the sunshine, the king spirit.
Do I believe in Sunshine Henry?
I just did the turn.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying. I believe.
Sorry, I had to download an update.
No, yeah, I had to. That was part of the technical problems here as well. I had a couple different programs that required updating here. How did your event go?
I had one person. But she was great. She totally bought into it, and I had to not only do this week's. So this week I had a session plan, and next week, so I did next week's as well. So I did 2 sessions for them. They completely avoided all the combat and decided to negotiate. It was great. They did. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
He's running D&D.
Yeah, it's a D&D game for the San Bernardino Library.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a program around here. I don't know if they're still doing it. It may have faded with COVID, but they were on a weekly rotation. They were meeting at different libraries and doing like one-offs. And I mean, you could show up and bring your own stuff, but if you showed up, they just hand you a character sheet and you get started. So
That's cool.
it's cool to see you guys are doing stuff there too.
Yeah, I made all the characters. They're all humans with the background student because it's ages 14 to 18.
Okay.
And the basic storyline is just they stay too long in the library, it closes down, and they have to find out what's wrong with a book and then fix it. So today, they had to escort Dorothy into the tornado.
That's
and
amazing.
Then they had to fix math because I sent Modrons into the library, and they started shredding math books. And every time they shredded a book, because the Modrons are such perfect geometric shapes, every time they shredded a book, they would morph a little bit because now the math's off.
That's awesome.
So they had to go into a geometry book and solve for X.
That's
How old are the people that you're running for?
It was just one person showed up, but it's supposed to be kids, so 14 to 18, and I
okay.
have other like my grand finale is supposed to be like
I mean, you're making them do algebra and D&D. Do you want them to come back?
they're already doing math. We're already doing math in D&D.
Bro, he's
I know.
running a game for
I know, but that's my
nerds.
version
What do
of
you
hell.
expect them to do?
And that is literally like, if I imagine what hell is, it's me at
You
a
don't want
desk.
to fight the hungry caterpillar on Dune?
Mark.
That's my finale.
Mark doesn't
Not
even
with
have
Mac.
math going on at his like with his game setup right now. He doesn't actually
No.
roll dice and add things to it.
Nope.
He picks a number on a piece of paper out of a hat.
That's right.
But yeah, she'd never played before, so she was super interested in this adorable little nerdy girl and
Awesome.
fully bought into it, which
Yeah,
was
that's
great.
great. That's great.
That's cool.
Hopefully she brings
You
friends
have
for you.
many more awesome experiences.
Yeah. That's awesome.
True that. I did have bookkeeping. I just remembered because I actually got an email with questions. Thrycreen is one of the races that you can find in several different sources, but the source we're using, I believe, is the Spelljammer box set. Has a copy of Thrycreen that you can find in there. This chef is a homebrew class. There are a couple different third-party books that you can find similar chefs or chef-like classes in. And
I think there is a new, like, what do they call it? Background for chef in the actual rule books now. But
It's feet.
is it feet? Yeah, but it's not nearly as detailed as this homebrew class.
yeah, this is a full class. Yeah, which is part of why we lean into it so hard. And then the alchemist bomber that we're using, he's an alchemist, and I think what is your subclass?
Me?
Yeah.
So I am an
artillerist?
alchemist that is specialized in where the hell is it? I'm an apothecary, basically.
And what is that Valya's?
Valda's Spire
Yeah,
of
it's
Secrets. I
Valda's
think.
Spire.
Valda's Spire of
Secrets,
Secrets,
yeah.
okay. So, and that's where you can find that, and a gunslinger, and they've got a whole bunch of additional rules and books and races in that book as well. So that covers that question. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Mark, new. When last we left you, you were drinking from a bottle the liquid you were drinking the first time you drank it knocked you out cold, and you
Yes.
experienced a very vivid memory of pulling in nets on a fishing boat out on what you think might be a lake, and drinking beer with your family and your friends on that boat as you guys are fishing and bringing in the catch of the day. That led you to asking him about nets and about the city, and he said, "Well, I'll take you to somebody who might know better," and started walking with you down the street away from the ow. Where is it? Where's the button? That button? Nope. That button. Away from this massive parade that is still going on with people loudly cheering and talking and shouting. Music is everywhere. So he's walking you kind of away from that. And as you walk further and further away from the chaos that is the Night of Remembrance Festival, you see that his outline becomes a little bit more transparent. He's still very much there. You can still feel his presence, but the further away you're getting from the main parts of Sunset Lawn, with all of these Day of Remembrance celebrants, the less he's not as bright, as clear. He's almost a little bit hazy, and he starts telling you a story. He died about 40 years ago, and had 2 sons, both of which are now dead. One son, Pedro, became a like winemaker. He brewed alcohol, and had some family troubles, and he doesn't go into a lot of the specifics, but you get the feeling that Pedro was looking for an out. And did you write down this ghost's name? I think
Yes.
you did. What was his name?
It is. Ramos Garza.
Ramos Garza. So Ramos explains that the sad part is no one remembers Pedro. So he can't come back. He didn't really have a family or a lot of friends or people that would remember him fondly enough to keep his form clear for the Day of Remembrance. He doesn't have anybody that would build an ofrenda for him. And his other son, Orencio, was also not one to be remembered. Orencio was well known, but for all the wrong reasons. And as he's talking, you're getting flashes, wisps of thought, images in your head. With Pedro, you see a man who's sad. He is pressing wine. He's pressing grapes and making wines, but he's very alone. And the small building that he's putting his business out of is way off the beaten track on the other side of the valley. He didn't pick a place well. He did not have an easy time of it, and did not make anything easier for himself. When he starts talking about Orencio, you get something very different. The images turn dark. They almost have a flowing, hazy, oily smoke about them. Even though it's just a fragment of a memory that you're seeing through this ghostly apparition, it feels like now you need to take a shower. Hovering behind the image of this young to middle-aged, almond-skinned man. You see a demon standing behind him. A demon with large eyes and a mouth that has 2 sets of beaks. One up and down, like this,
Mm-hmm.
and one from the side, like this.
I mean,
And-
you can just say crow.
No, these are beaks. Yeah, not mandibles, like full bird beaks. Oh,
I
you
don't
meant
really notice the difference when I'm pissing my pants.
you meant Crow the person, not Crow's character. I understand.
Right,
I
that's
mean, a
correct.
little column A, a little column B.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And you also see a bunch of sharper teeth that start inside his mouth, but like thorns, they stick out along the edges of his face. This demon is up to no good, and he's standing behind the man, as if almost projecting some of his power through him. When he says Orencio, he's saying the name with love, but you can see there's a lot of darkness attached to that name. He says, he was always a foolish boy. Maybe he grew up too poor. Maybe we grew up too poor. He always wanted more. But he could have been so much better if he had just managed to stay around. And you see the image of a young boy running through the streets of Sunset Lawn, barefoot, playing football with some of the other kids, pretending with small sticks, playing swords back and forth as they're dancing back and forth. One of them has a mask, a strip of black cloth across his face as he's pretending the hero. And he says, I still look in on the boy every year. He doesn't know who I am, but I make sure he's okay. Until recently. His mother should have told him. And as he's walking you, you think he's walking you, as you're seeing these images, towards some place that might be close to a dock or the lake or some waterfront, he stops. And you've been kind of engrossed in this story, and you hadn't really noticed the buildings that were walking by, and you see a manor house in front of you. And give me an intelligence check.
Oh boy. Sorry. Hold on. I was not prepared for that. The one thing I was not prepared for.
That you have to roll dice. I don't know. You grab your
Yeah,
hat.
I know, right? In a D&D game, it's crazy.
Grab your hat that has the pieces of paper.
What are you
Right, pieces of
talking about?
paper.
We don't roll dice here.
Yeah, I've just been saying numbers.
Yeah, I'm just making it up as I go.
It's okay. His hat has mostly numbers between 15 and 25, but there are 8 ones in there.
It's a what's the opposite of the feet? What was that system in 3.5?
The what?
Or big eye, small mouth? The opposite of a feet.
Oh, yeah, frick. Detriment?
Yeah, it's not detriment, but that's close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a hindrance. Yeah.
yeah, hindrance.
Mark, I
I-
posted something in the chat. Can you please confirm that you got that? The one with you and Dan.
Hi, Mandy. How are you doing? I did get it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not coming in till 1, or that's your time, and it's 12:30 my time. Wait, we're both in the same time zone, so you're not coming in till 1:30.
It was rebooked, and I'm arriving earlier. Sorry, Dan. I didn't mean to derail
You're
D&D. I
okay.
just wanted to make sure Mark had
Wait,
this.
that's your time zone and my time zone. Oh wait, no, we're in the same time zone.
Yeah, that's exactly what it. Trust me, I'm currently dealing with Germany and Denmark and a bunch of other time zones. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping it all straight because I got
Maybe I
meetings
shouldn't
tomorrow
run
too.
a
I
math
should.
module with.
Yeah,
with
for
Mark.
us.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, I see
Yeah.
it now. I see it now. Okay.
6 plus wherever I put that window. I'm looking for it. Here it is. 6 plus. Nope. Yes. 6 plus intelligence. 1. So 7.
You're not sure
I do
you've
not
ever
recognize
seen,
it's a.
You're not sure you've ever seen a house before. No.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is a okay. So, it is a manor house. You've seen Encanto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's built kind of like that, where they have the different rooms, and each of the rooms in this are a different apartment. So it was a
Right.
big house, and it's been converted into apartments. It has been dolled up big time. There are flowers, paper flowers mostly, but also beautifully grown flowers, and several ofrendas. These, let me pull that up. Digital, and then where are you? This. A lot of these ofrendas, which are altars to people being remembered. You see a lot of these out in the courtyard, and some of them even up in front of doors for some of these apartments. You also, he smiles at you and says, "I'm sorry that I led you here instead of where you wanted, but sometimes we're needed in places we don't realize we are." And he kind of does a wave, and you
Mhm.
see Keck standing on the stairs to the second floor. You see Sibo in the open doorway on the second floor. You see Prudence walking towards Keck, and you see. Give me a perception check, please. You're going to have to go through all of the pages, the tabs again, your 40 different tabs to get to your character sheet.
Yeah. No, that one I know. 10 plus.
You have like a plus 20.
It's not 20, but it's high for perception. 17.
And off to the left, you see a crowd. You see a parade that's moving past the large manor house, but across the parade you see a wrestling ring, and you see people moving around, and every once in a while you hear shouts and cheering from the crowd that has grown up around them. It looks like a lot of the parade stops there.
So I'm sorry for missing last week because I was sick, but I do have to say this. So this is a Randy Newman manor house because it's got an ofrenda in me.
It's a
Oh gosh!
I'll tell you what, Mark.
Jokes
like that, and you're gonna have an ofrenda of you. That's all that's.
I feel like I need a roll for how much damage I just took.
I'm tearing on my character sheet. I'm done.
And Naomi just left.
Yeah. That's it.
Yay. Mission accomplished. Yes. Okay. And I'm just trying to parse everything that's going on right now because what the hell? So I see all of them in front of me. I see Sunshine wrestling in a ring across the street.
And from there, we're going to cut across to Sunshine to give Mark time to think. Sunshine, you were drugged into this ring, oh so hatefully, right? You didn't want to come here at all.
Around those kids.
Yeah. And there are signs up, as described earlier, that have a reasonable interpretation of you. You can tell it's not you, but other people might not. The coloring on the costume is off, but it's about the same shape. The person in the costume has much darker skin than you and doesn't have your tusks, but overall, you're the same shape, you're the same size, and you've been dropped in to an ongoing match. As you kind of go into, the two people standing that were grappling each other back away, and they face you not like, what the heck are you doing here, but like it's a desperado 1v1v1. And one is a large skeleton. Give me a perception check.
Oh, I see. I've inherited my player's roles. That's a total of 8.
Okay. Huge skeleton with that is not. He doesn't have the same kind of engravings you've seen on other skeletons, but he does have paint. And his bones, he's wearing a wrestling outfit, but he's wearing essentially sleeveless and shorts. But you can see that his bones have been painted where the clothing would normally be, like where tights would normally be. And he's wearing pretty large gloves. You've done this long enough to know that species that wrestle that have like claws, like sharp points, they tend to wear these kinds of gloves so that they look menacing, but they're really there so that they don't claw you. And so he's wearing big gloves like that. His mask almost looks like yours. Like it's almost identical to yours. Same color and everything. And his eyes glow a dark red. And then in an opposite corner from him, also facing off against you, is a small skeleton. Size small. It might be a dwarf or a halfling. It's pretty sturdy looking, but it's head to toe painted black. Like completely black. With what might be sparkles of white here and there. And you hear an announcer say, "We have a new challenger!" And then somebody leans in close to you and says, "What's your name?"
Sunshine King Spirit.
Sunshine King Spirit, facing off against the Moose and the Mouse. And they face off against you, and you hear a bell going off somewhere, and they run at you as like a team that has practiced this.
Awesome. Oh, so this is a combat?
But
Okay.
it can be a narrative combat, yeah. I'm not really super worried about rolling dice right now.
For sure. All right, yeah. So as he announces me, I like point at them and like loudly point specifically at the one that has my mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, how dare you tarnish the Fantasma legacy? Mascara pa mascara. I will take you down, demonio. And I charge at that one first.
Okay. You, as befits proper wrestling tradition, as you begin to speak, they slow down. They don't stop. They're just making a dramatic show of coming at you while you're doing your lines. And you begin to run towards them, and you clash in the center in a resounding gasp and cheer from the audience. And we're going to cut back to Sibo and Ket. What are you doing? Sibo, you've just been invited inside. You handed her a fruit basket, and she asked you to come in.
I am standing there listening in case Sibo calls for help because of children.
So are
who
you
need
listening
killing.
for him to yell for help, or did you move up closer to the door?
I think I would have moved up a little closer to the door so I can hear if something happens.
Okay.
So I already stepped inside and offered her the things. Can I give it a quick refresher of what her and I were talking about when we ended?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. So she was explaining that because you asked about the No, you didn't. I'm trying to think what you asked about because there's a lot of information here. You noticed that she had been sobbing. You heard it when you were walking upstairs. She said that it's a hard time of year. Her husband passed just a couple months ago, and from the Sereno. I am. Am I sounding crackly to you guys?
Yeah,
A little
you're
robotic.
breaking up just a little
give me
bit.
give me one second.
And I think we're frozen on your screen.
Yeah, your screen's frozen.
Because his heart's not open.
Oh,
Damn it, Mark.
If I could melt your heart.
No, why? Why would you do that to me?
You're fine. It's not like you're in a wrestling
No,
match.
it is trapped in there.
It's not like you're in a
That's-
wrestling match. It's
The song
fine.
is awful. Why? Oh,
the movie is awful.
Just remember, you hold the key.
I'm gonna spend all my key points to attack Mark.
It's only going to take one.
Yeah, it's only going to take one for sure.
I want to send a message.
Flurry of blows.
I'm going to salt the earth. I forgot Malcolm had been on this computer, so everything was open. All the things were open. So hopefully that will help my audio when my computer starts to level back out. Am I okay?
Yeah, you seem to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
You're even moving again.
Well, that's the smoothest I've seen Dan moving ever.
It's the laxatives.
Naomi's face.
Oh God, the delay was just took a minute to figure out what was happening.
I miss you guys. Okay. She said that it's a hard time of year for her. Her husband just passed 4 months ago. And while he was loved, not enough time has passed for him to be remembered this year. That's where we had paused this conversation. Yeah. Yeah. So that's where we had paused that. Really quick. As Prudence and New are out, as Prue and New are outside, what are you guys doing?
Watching Prue come outside.
I'm trying to remember where I was just following the. I was just following the clues. Ended up here.
Yeah. So you and Sunshine, through different ways of researching, had put a couple different things together. The Doña Rosa's husband, Evaristo, had died a couple months ago from the Sereno, and you also know, Prudence, that he was a stepfather. You put 2 and 2 together and figure out he was a stepfather to Serapio, which is Doña Rosa's son.
Okay, very important information. Very much appreciate. But as I'm walking up here, I see Sunshine jump into a ring.
You saw him got grabbed by the hands, totally against his will, towards a wrestling ring.
He was very upset about it. We could hear him swearing for blocks.
Yeah, he was pulling the kids behind him at some point.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab some snacks and watch the show.
Okay, there's plenty of snacks around. You have no problem grabbing a bowl of this and that. There's food pretty much everywhere, and you make your way over to watch from a little bit of a distance.
That's just because I have to leave in like 20 minutes. So.
Yeah. You're split. Looking to the right, you see the Veredad, which is where Keck, and then to the left you see the wrestling match where um, Sunshine and now Prue are headed.
Yeah, it's like on the right side, I've got one of those ornate German clocks where you can see all the different layers of the different things going on the right, and then on the left, I have a wrestling match, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to make a choice between one or the other. I'm just kind of standing there trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
I feel, I'm not sure why, but this is kind of like those situations you see a lot on various socials where GM says you walk into the tavern and right there is the guy that you came all this way to talk to, and then your players go, who else is here? And you're like, oh, there's a goblin mopping the floor. Oh, I'm gonna go talk to the goblin.
We came up with a way to like justify me being late or gone,
Yeah,
and neither of those things happened.
neither of them happened.
And this isn't like me going, is there a goblin mopping a floor over here? No, the GM put a wrestling show to the left side of the screen and the place with all the PCs on the right side, and I'm like torn. I didn't do this. I just got delivered here, and now I don't know what to do. So I blame that on the GM.
You should. Everything's my fault. Ramos Garza was indicating that he looks in on the boy and indicated to the manor that the boy lives there.
Yeah, but you put a wrestling show to the left side of the screen. What am I supposed to do here? What's going on with the wrestling show? And Prudence, I thought Prudence was going to come out and talk to me, but instead she came out, turned to the left, and then immediately beeline for the wrestling ring. So now it's making me think I should go to the wrestling thing.
It's actually worse than that, because she walked towards the building like she was going to go to the building, picked up a bowl of snacks, and then walked past you to the wrestling.
Yeah, she didn't even say anything. Is she being mind controlled? Do I need to go check on her? This is where I'm at the moment. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to delay.
What was the quote we ended on, Sunshine? What was it? The ring?
I gave Prudence the book. I put my hand on her shoulder and I said, the ring she calls and I must answer.
Gosh. Yeah, that would warrant snacks. What modifier would my attention span be?
It's you. Do you think you have a modifier? I can tell you have a modifier, but you're not going to like it.
Yeah, it's in the negatives. How far negative are we talking here? Because I can tell you I just rolled.
I think ADHD is you have a disadvantage. That's it. With everything.
I got a 6 on my attention span.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. You're not even at the wrestling match anymore.
I'm gonna end up married.
Okay. As New is going.
As New is having a small aneurysm.
We're gonna go back to Sibo and Keck. Sibo. She indicates there is a small table. You can see that the small table is pushed up against the wall. It has a small bowl that looks like it might have some kind of pastries, sugar-coated pastries on it. And the table is a smallish table. It has 3 chairs, but one of the chairs has not been used for a while. There are a little bit of things stacked up on it. Not like hoarded, but there's some clothes that have been folded up, a jacket's hanging on the back of the chair. So there are 2 chairs left, and she sits in one and beckons you to sit in the other.
And I'll go over and sit down. And did she take? She took the stuff from me, right?
She did. She took it and walked it over to what could be loosely called the kitchenette. Like I described before, this apartment essentially is a living room and a bedroom, separated by a thin curtain that is currently open. You can see into the bedroom, and there are 2 mats on the floor with a wooden curtain. What is that called? A wooden divider between the two beds.
Divider, okay.
One is very obviously hers. It's made up, and there's like a small thing of flowers next to the bed. The other side is messy and has drawings covering the walls. As you sit down at the table, you see that even here, the table has been drawn on. Charcoal and pencil drawings cover much of the table's surface, which you couldn't really see until you were sitting in the chair.
What's on the what kind of drawings? Like, can I get a description of?
Child's doodles. So these
Okay.
these in style, yes, they are similar to the ones you guys found, but in content, everything from words to some landscapes, but mostly creatures and things that a child would find interesting when he's bored, especially.
Some of the artwork here is fascinating. Who drew these things?
My son. And you can see her eyes start welling up again. She says, "My Serapio, that poor boy."
When did you first notice that something was wrong with him?
So thank you for bringing. I'm gonna circle back a note. When we stopped, I just remembered that she had part of what she was crying about. She said, "My boy, my poor boy," and had started tearing up again, and that's where we had stopped. So I want to reference that so that anybody who's watching right now doesn't think that you just saw a bunch of drawings and said, "What's wrong with him?"
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
What was your first indication that something had changed?
I just thought he was sick. So many people have been sick lately, and I thought that he was just getting sick, just different. I mean, it had happened to Evaristo, so I thought maybe the same happened to him. But
Had he done anything out of the ordinary shortly before that? Had he gone anywhere he had not normally, or was he interacting with people that he would not?
Just work. I mean, he goes to work and comes home and draws. He always draws. I didn't think anything extra of it, but he'd been a lot quieter, a lot more still and worried lately.
And where did he work?
He works at the metalworks for Itzman.
Gesundheit.
The greenhorn.
Okay.
You recognize that name as the overly well-dressed, jade-horned tiefling that was burning hollow to the ground.
Can I hear any of this through the door?
So that's why I asked if you would move
Door's
up.
open, I think.
Yeah, door's completely open. If you had been on the stairs,
okay.
If you had been on the stairs, no. But you can hear everything that's being said right now from where you
So
are.
I'll be close enough that I can hear, but not to where she can see me through the doorway.
I figured you were going to be like back up against the door doing your
Yeah.
bodyguard thing. Yeah.
Yep.
He got really worried and started. I mean, he yelled at me yesterday, but he's a young man. That's bound to happen when you're frustrated. He's just a kid, just a child. But he was just a child. He came to me yesterday in tears. He had cut into himself trying to cross out some kind of marks, some burns that he had on his chest and stomach. I was so worried about him.
I'm sorry, above table. Didn't you say this kid died previously?
Let's track back so that we figure out where we might be misstepping. Serapio is missing from here, but he's been seen recently. He, as far as you can tell, he was in the Hollow Mine because his drawings were in the Hollow Mine.
Right.
In the room that had some of those feathers and the big scrapes, the big like claw scrapes. Orencio, his possibly birth father, was executed. Evaristo, his stepfather, died of the curse, the Sereno, about 4 months ago.
That's the one that died 4 months ago.
Yep, and that's the one that's in the ofrenda, right inside the door. It's his picture. A handsome man with hair slicked really, really down, like with oil. And a big mustache. He came here yesterday and told me what has become of him. That he can't control himself. That he's being told to do things, and he has no choice but to do them.
Who is telling him to do these things?
I don't know. Some kind of demon. It's why I ran. I ran to get
I blink at her comments and like I'm trying to absorb what she said.
Mm-hmm. I believe.
Is it telling him only to hurt himself?
No. I believe that Orencio, his father, I mean, he wasn't really even that. A man I once loved that helped me create Serapio. He belongs to a cult. He led a cult. And he's been dead for years, but I believe his cult is responsible for what's happening to my boy.
Do you know anything about where we might find further information? Perhaps a place where the cult operates? Anything?
I've been looking, and I've been trying to quietly find out anything I can, but I haven't found anything other than perhaps heading down towards the gully, the quarry. But I know that there are places that he might go. There are places in the city that he feels he can hide himself away. I'm afraid of what he might do to himself or to others.
Do you know where he is now?
I don't. I really don't. But perhaps if you could go through his drawings. I have as well, but maybe you would see something that would help you figure out where he might have gone.
Above table, who's our most observant person in the party?
New. I believe.
Jack, go and fetch the chef.
She looks at you going, you can tell she has no idea what you just said. The sentence makes no sense.
You'll hear a growl
I
and then
shout towards
footsteps.
the door.
Don't worry, he won't come in and leave his rock candy all around your domicile here. He is going to get someone who may help me translate the drawings.
You said growl, and I immediately thought of like the Squidward like,
Like a murloc, just
Do I see New?
Yeah, he's standing at the opening of the manor, paralyzed with choice.
Yeah, vein in his forehead, you can clearly see, is like protruding.
I will walk over to New. And you'll hear in your head,
The little green man wants you.
That's not creepy at all. Sure,
aren't you kind of green?
he's black.
yeah, but I'm not little.
So
Yeah, but
I'm
you're
like
not
greenish
talking about the whole
tan.
You in that case.
Please say they're having this argument in game.
But telepathically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then I'm going to sit down at the gate to the manor. I'm not going back.
Okay.
Well, where?
Oh, I'll use 2 arms and point up at the door
You see one
because
of
it's
the
on the
I
next
see
floor
the
up.
entry is right there. Where? This is like a huge house.
I thought you were
Oh,
perceptive.
I'm sorry. Let me clarify. The courtyard is within the manor proper. And so you
Yeah.
had walked into part of the courtyard. From the
Right.
inside of the courtyard, you can see the bottom floor has doors
Hmm?
for apartments. And then there's a second floor, like railing with a walkway.
Mhm.
And then there are doors on the second floor. Most of the doors are closed or have someone standing in them watching
Oh,
the
the
parade.
doors are on the outside,
Yes.
like a terrace.
Like
Okay, fine.
like
All
a
right.
motel, not a hotel.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
so-
I was thinking hotel, not
Yeah,
motel.
that's my bad. I forgot you weren't here. But so you can see a doorway open with no one standing in it, and that's where Keck just walked from.
And then I'm going to tell you,
You can't see the door open over there.
I mean, your little fingers pointing isn't necessarily the most accurate descriptor.
Is he pointing with his
And-
mouth fingers?
Right, that's what I was thinking. Yes.
and I don't make any movements. I'm perfectly still, but you can see my mouth fingers twitching slightly.
I'm gonna go up to the open door.
Okay. Looking in the open door, as mentioned earlier. Oh, there's a rocket launch.
Yeah.
It's a rocket launch.
And now, as I'm entering the door, there's a rocket launch.
Yep.
Are you trying to make it so that I never go wherever it is you want me to go?
It's an industrial city. They have stuff you guys have never seen before.
Rockets?
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's launching from the depths of the cavern we came through.
It's
Don't they live on a flying crystal in space?
yeah.
I mean, do you want me to go in here or not, Dan?
Okay, so you see that there's this apartment essentially is made up of a larger living room and a smaller bedroom. Yeah.
Aren't you French?
Yes.
So you've seen a rocket before, right?
Yeah, I was just joking.
Oh,
that
I was trying to
kept-
figure this out. Sorry, I was like, wait, what century is New from?
That's
Okay.
wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Oh, get out of here.
Okay.
Also, yes, of course. But the point is that I was more saying like Dan's put a wrestling match
Yeah, we
in front
jumped
of
the
me,
shark.
and now a rocket launch. When he keeps saying he wants me to go do the plot, yet he puts all these other things in front of me that is distracting me.
In an
see.
area that already has a whole bunch of ghosts and skeletons like their
Yes,
normal
exactly.
day
It's-
things.
It's
You're
like-
coming down from a memory high. Yeah.
exactly. That is correct.
There's mushroom people walking in the parade. Okay. You look into the room. It's a fairly dark, empty space. you feel grief as you walk in. To your left, just inside the door, is a smaller ofrenda, a smaller altar. It has a picture of a man with a large handlebar mustache and hair slicked back. He's a relatively handsome man. Two candles are burning by him. There's a small bowl that has some fruit, some strange fruit you don't really recognize. And then sitting at a table pushed up against the wall is Sibo and a middle-aged woman, dark hair pulled back in a tight ponytail, wearing muted colors, which are different than what you've been seeing this entire time in Sunset Lawn. And it's very apparent that she's been crying, and she seems startled when you walk in, but immediately offers you some water or some kind of sugary pastry when you walk in.
I
She
will
stands up.
accept whatever is offered to me, and I will say bonjour.
You mean merci?
No, bonjour first, and then merci when she hands me the stuff. I'm looking at Sibo, obviously confused.
Because remember, he's not going to have any of this information at all.
So, in summary, I will relay the information to you, and with the driving point of
She asked me if I could examine these drawings. I thought you might be able to help me find something of import.
I turn to her, and her name is
Doña
Donna?
Rosa.
Doña Rosa. Yeah. I say, Dona Rosa, do you know Ramos?
Her eyes go really wide, and she says, I didn't think that he... I didn't think that he was here anymore.
He brought me here and said that he checks in on the boy, but has not recently, and said this is where I needed to be.
He wouldn't check in on him. And you can see her eyes welling up again. He was always a good man. It was his kindness that made me think it would be different with his son. Orencio was mean and cold, nothing like his father. But I still thought because there was kindness in his father, perhaps it was there somewhere in Orencio. When I found out that I was pregnant, I ran. I feared for what he might do to his son. It was the looks he got when he saw me were enough. I couldn't imagine what it might mean for our son.
Did you know Pedro?
Pedro was already out and away before I had been with Orencio. So I heard stories, but I never had a chance to meet him.
I nod. I take a look at the pictures and see if there's anything I can glean from them.
So you guys have moved from the living room, the larger living area, to a smaller bedroom. And you can see that the bedroom is split by a wooden screen with bedrolls on either side. The walls on Serapio's side are lined with drawings. The other half of a locket hangs on the wall near the bedroll. This is the top half of the locket, which doesn't have any pictures in it. I can't remember who had the locket that you guys found in the... It was probably Naomi. Naomi has everything. But when you guys were looking at the bottom half of the locket that you found in the hollow mine, the picture that was in it was of Doña Rosa. The pictures, give me an intelligence check. You're really good at those, so let's see.
Both of us.
Yes. As you're looking over these pictures in this small space.
I got an 18.
Ooh, that's better. So 19.
That's much better. No, 18 total.
I got a 14.
Okay.
Dan's. Oh. When I said it was 18 total versus 19.
You needed a 19.
Yeah, I figured.
It's super strange. Usually they have even numbers, but this one specifically says, if Mark, DC 19.
Nice.
But for you, a 14 is fine, Sibo.
Okay, perfect.
You guys are looking over all of the drawings that are covering the walls in this small sleeping space, and most of them are of things that it looks like things that Serapio did with Evaristo. You can see pictures of the two of them fishing, the two of them going to the park, or just doing kind of father-son activities. It really seems like Evaristo was a very good father to Serapio. And then you see a handful of images of just Evaristo, and they are done with a heavy hand. There is a lot of guilt that is coloring this very young artist as he's drawing pictures of his stepfather. And beneath a handful of these drawings, you find a building. It is a drawing of a building. You don't find a building. That would be weird. Although, based on tonight, that would probably be accurate. It is a largish warehouse. Probably, I mean, based on the trees next to it, it's a fairly large warehouse. It's not a warehouse. It's a metalworks. So it has, like, railroad tracks, like cart tracks that go up to it. It has big doors on this drawing. You see scrap and some different equipment drawn. And she did say that he worked at a metalworks, so that may be part of the drawing. And then you see an angry drawing of a tiefling, a male tiefling. There aren't a lot of definable details. But you can definitely tell the difference between a demon and a tiefling, and this is definitely a tiefling.
Yeah, first of all, 1 second.
Cozy Bean, thank you for the raid of 14 billion people.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Gamersledge. If it's your first time here, we're a group of 11 different editors and contributors who watch, read, and play just about everything pop culture related in order to help people wisely spend their hard-earned discretionary income. And then we stream our recommendations like Dungeons & Dragons, Magic the Gathering, and much, much more here on our channel. We are playing a ttrpg D&D, so I apologize for not doing a lot of raid stuff, but I appreciate the raid very much, and make sure you go check out Cozy Bean if you haven't already. She is one of the nicest variety streamers on Twitch today, so sorry about that. I did want to ask a quick question, Dan. Is the male tiefling, does it look like the one we met in?
If you squint. This is exaggerated. The defined areas are like stretched, but it definitely looks like it could be Greenhorn, Itzman, the tiefling that had the one jade horn and jade tooth.
Yeah. Greenhorn, what was his last name? I'm sorry.
He just introduced himself as Itzman, Itzmin.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We can't hear Dan very well, at least Cozy can't.
Really?
Yeah. You do sound okay to me, but I'm curious if maybe it's not going out over stream at a high level. Let me say something. Say something so I can check on the stream itself.
Okay, so if you guys remember, Itzman is the tiefling that said he was the owner of Hollow Mine, of the Hollow Town, and he was destroying it because it was possibly causing the curse, or
Mhm.
at least that's what they thought at the time. He
Right.
also said he was a big deal in Sunset Lawn. He owned a lot of property, and he was one of the landowners in Sunset Lawn.
You seem okay to me. I think you're just a little quiet compared to us, maybe
That might be.
because you are soft spoken.
It could be that Cozy Bean and I aren't on the same frequency.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Sadly, it happens. Could be.
No worries. I appreciate you letting us know, Cozy. Thank you.
Thank you, Cozy. Is Cozy Bean a
Yes.
specific type of bean or a jelly bean?
You met Cozy Bean.
I know, but
Oh.
is Cozy Bean like the icon for Cozy Bean? Is it like a pinto bean?
I think I thought it was a coffee bean, but maybe not.
Oh, is it a coffee bean?
Yeah, and
Maybe
I
it's
think
just a regular bean.
I think she's changed it to her face now.
So
Yeah.
Is she a human being?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Back to the game. So we're gonna cut from there to the wrestling match. You are currently on your back, fighting hard against Mouse, which is the smaller dark skeleton that is laying across you, and you're making sure your shoulders, Sunshine, aren't touching the mat. You're rolling and pushing, and you hear his clattering teeth get really close to your ear, and you hear him say, "Throw me at Moose." And the much larger skeleton across the wrestling ring is getting ready to launch himself at you.
I'm gonna take the hit and like roll with it because you have to add that drama, right? I can't just be winning all the time.
So, as you don't move to wait, did you hear what I said?
I heard he was charging up to attack me. That's what I heard.
So,
Sorry.
the small skeleton's on you, and he's pinning you, but he's
Okay.
He's much smaller than you, and he whispers to you, "Throw me at Moose." And Moose is like charging up and leans back against the ropes and then starts running at you to jump on you.
Yeah, sorry. I got a message from Adam and I was like,
"Oh yeah, you're good."
Heard that last part. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, I'll throw them at Moose.
He does a pinwheel as you throw him, because he's a small skeleton, he doesn't weigh very much, and he pinwheels into Moose as Moose is running towards you, and they both jump and fly backwards. Moose hits the mat, which makes a much louder boom than you would expect, and Mouse rolls off and out into the crowd, and you hear people gasp and shout, everybody's cheering.
Cool. So I'll run, jump over Moose, who's on the floor, and then jump to the ropes and use them to springboard myself into a moonsault.
Okay.
And land on Moose.
People are. It is as you do this maneuver, the crowd has gone silent. Even the parade, you don't even hear the parade, which is moving about 20 feet away from you guys. Everyone has stopped, and they see you, and the mat seems to shake, and you see the Moose, he takes the hit and nods, and then you see him like KO.
Oh, cool. Then I go for the pin.
Okay. You can feel that he is not. I mean, he's a skeleton. He's not knocked out, right? But you can. You and you don't see a ref anywhere, but you hear somebody calling the numbers, and we have a new champion, and Mouse comes in and he's pulling a belt, and it's a pretty cheap looking belt. It looks like it's a belt made for it's a Remembrance Day belt, right? They probably made 30 of them. But
Uh-huh.
he brings it up and he holds it up and he hands it. He's like holding it above his head over towards you.
Yeah, so I'll take it. I'll go to one of the corners and I'll lift it up. I'll put it on my shoulder, tap it, and then I'll call to the crowd, "Toss me 2 pulques!"
Everybody is cheering and yelling really loud, and they've kind of exploded with just the excitement and revelry that is happening right now. Um, Small coins get tossed into the ring. They are copper in color, but about the size of your pinky nail. Looking really quick at them, they have something stamped on it, but you'd have to get a really close look at them because they're so small. And you see small children that are dressed up like wrestlers, like probably their favorite wrestlers as part of their costumes, are collecting all of the coins. They're like sweeping them into bags and Moose.
Pulque was the drink, right?
Pulque was a drink. Yep.
Okay, that's
Yep.
what I called for 2 of them. Yeah.
Yep. As you are standing there, kind of taking it all in, Mouse helps Moose get up, and Moose is slow and he's bending, and you can hear rattling as his bones are rubbing against each other. And he comes up to you and puts out a heavy mitted hand.
Yeah, I shake it.
Well played. It is rare for someone not of here to be as good with skill and not trying to kill us.
This temple is sacred no matter where we go.
If it were only that true everywhere. And he nods and walks away. Give me one more perception check.
9.
Yeah, he's a fairly large framed humanoid skeleton. The paint has rubbed off. You even see some of the paint on your costume, not costume, your clothes, your uniform. But it shouldn't be hard to get off. But yeah, he makes his way out of the stands. People part for him and they're patting him on the back, and people are asking for your autograph, and they're excited. They are calling you by a different name. And I'm sure that I'm going to butcher it. El Estrello Loco. And I think that's probably wrong, but that's what I'm going to go with. And you see that's the name on the posters for the person that kind of looks like you. And in the stands, Prue has finished her snacks and she's just kind of watching now with a big smile on her face. And we're going to go back to the apartment. You guys found those images, and she's standing behind you if you had any questions.
Where is this metalworks?
It's across town. It might be hard to get to now with the parade going on, but it's down in maybe 15 or 20 blocks.
And the name?
And she gives you kind of directions. The name is the Jade Ironworks.
And who owns it?
Itzman. He owns a
course it
lot
is.
of the businesses in that sector. Yeah, he's Serapio's boss.
Hmm.
I've never liked him. His friendliness seems false.
I look at Sibo.
To the ironworks, then.
Think so.
We should gather everyone and share what we have learned.
Let's.
I just
Thank-
have one thing, please. He's not a monster, my son. Serapio. He's a boy. This bad thing has happened to him. Please spare him and bring him to me. I promise I will look after him until I can find him some help.
Mm,
We will do what we can to keep the peace.
And she kisses both of you on the cheek and thanks you for helping her son. And you can see that she is also crying, but maybe this time not so much in grief, but in hope as you leave her apartment.
no pressure, Dan.
I wouldn't tell you that and judge you like that if there wasn't some way for it to happen.
I'm aware. I'm just saying, no pressure.
Good thing I wasn't there to hear that part of it.
Yeah, Keck wants to eat him.
Yeah. Let's head on down that way. 1 second. I need to get 1 second. Why are you like this?
I ask myself that question all the time.
I learned it
There.
by watching you.
Yep. And away we go.
I learned it from watching you. All right.
We head down and start to gather everybody.
You make your way down, back down into the entryway, and you see the wrestling match has just ended. The crowds are starting to break apart. The parade is still not as strong as it has been, but it looks like they might loop around parts of the city because you're pretty sure you saw these giant 20-foot tall paper mache skeleton puppets before. But anyway, it's loud. There are a lot of bright, flashy colors, a lot going on. You see across the road, you see Sunshine and Prue. Here in the courtyard, you see Keck.
And I'm sorry, did you say I do see Prue or no?
You do see Prue.
Okay. I'll head that direction first.
Okay.
And then after I get Prue's attention and she either agrees to come with us or not, then I will go for Sunshine next.
Yeah, she'll start walking back to the courtyard. She has some kind of large cloud-like candy that she's eating.
Hopefully Keck won't maul her when we meet back up.
And you make your way to Sunshine?
Yes.
I'll follow behind,
Okay.
but a little ways behind.
I kind of waved to Sunshine from the edge of the crowd. I'm not going to go into the crowd or get between him and fans or anything.
Hey, look at this.
Hmm?
Like people are handing me like pulques and stuff to drink, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm staying back a ways and kind of keeping an eye to see if we're being followed by anybody.
Okay.
I mean, prudent.
Where are you, Siba?
I'm still probably walking along with New.
Okay, then Prue is following you. So everybody's together over here by the wrestling match.
Sorry, please
Did the
continue without
oversized
me.
greenskin have his fun?
I
I've
gesture
got-
to the ring.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say? I missed the first part.
Did the oversized greenskin have his fun?
I'm more brown, but I did have a lot of fun. It was good. Or maybe I'm green to your eyes. I don't know. I don't know. How these things? What color is this? And I point at my mask.
Underground tends to skew things a bit.
He is, for the record, because I thought the same thing until I started drawing the marquee for him. He is a human, a darker human flesh tone, half orc. Versus
okay.
versus a shade of green.
Got it.
Yeah.
I retract my previous statement.
No, I think it's funny.
You have fun.
Like,
Did you
I
have
don't
fun
know how
riling up
you
the crowd
see
with your antics?
oh, and I start vomiting the information that you guys already know that we've gathered.
We're just kind of nodding along.
Right. Of course.
So
Yes.
what did you find out? And I have
And I
another.
literally just verbal vomit everything you said back to us.
But with the new
Ours was
information,
nice.
the
Ours
dead
was
dad.
grieving woman, but yours was apparently the arena.
Oh, I mean, she calls.
Can you
And
get
I'm
that kind
I'm
of
a-
information from that place?
You can learn a lot from fighting somebody.
I suppose
I learned a
that's
lot,
true.
but
You can also learn a
nothing
lot from
pertinent
just
to
killing
this,
them.
to what we are doing right now.
That's why I
As
love
far as-
Mondays.
As far as Serenio's concerned, that was a complete waste of time. But I've learned a lot here.
Dan, I just sent you a quick text.
Thank you.
So, Ironworks. Do we know where that is?
Yes, it's
Yes, we were given that information
Yeah.
in gathered intel.
Yeah, so New gives you kind of the directions that he was given. It's about 15 blocks down and across town. There is an industrial area that has a lot of businesses like this ironworks and warehouses and stuff, and it's deep in those. You also find that this specific one, the Jade Ironworks, is owned by or run by Itzman, the tiefling that you guys had already previously met, and that Serapio, the child who is at the center of this mystery, works for Itzman at that ironworks, which may be why perhaps the boy might be there. Okay. So you, what do you guys want to do?
I'm gonna walk in.
Well, you're gonna head that direction?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys start heading that direction across town. It is very busy between the huge various paper mache puppets made of everything from made to look like everything from certain demon forms to various politicians to skeletons. You hear fireworks go off nearby as you pass one of the other manses that's been turned into these vicinidades, these apartment buildings. The scents, the smells of different foods waft across as you're making your way through these different areas of town. Um, Several times, you guys are paused as spectral forms move across the street in their own form of parade. Maybe not with the main parade of mortals that are moving down the street, but sometimes perpendicular come these minstrels and dancers that are spectral, swirling in these huge embroidered dresses and very fine suits. Until, in the distance, you see a series of box-like buildings. I say that because most of the buildings you've had up to now have been smooth curves. Even in Marsupil, the town you guys first came to, the buildings had smooth curves, the doorways were rounded. There wasn't a lot of box square shapes. Here, as you guys are entering the more industrialized zones of Sansatlan, you see that the buildings are much more rectangular. They're much more of what you might see in well, in industrial parts of towns, out by the airport, you know what I mean. And you find yourselves, you make your way to a large building that has a sign, a light green sign that has been painted out front. It's hanging above one of the big doorways, and it says Jade Ironworks, but the paint is peeled. The building itself looks old and run down. There is a door, where is it? There is a two large bay doors that a series of tracks run up to those two bay doors, and then off to the right there's a window, but it looks like different advertisements from years and years have been kind of pasted up on the inside of that window, like to cover the window. There looks also like the doors have been chained shut. The doors that you see. Now, I'm going to pause for 1 second. I'm going to catch Naomi up because she just got home from bringing back one of the kids, and then we'll be good to go to continue.
Do you want to do like a 10 for
Uh,
bio?
what's our timeline look like for folks?
I
I do
kind of
have to go to
a-
bed at some point because I got to be up early tomorrow. But
Yeah, I got to be up at 5:30 tomorrow.
I'm up at 5:30
So
every day, Mark.
yeah, well, I'm not used to that yet. So
Let's can we come back at 9:20? 5 minutes?
yeah,
Is that enough
sure.
for folks? So for
Yeah.
quick? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to head out Wednesday, Mark. It just isn't gonna happen.
No, it's cool, man. It's totally fine. I'm thinking we'll probably end up going to the izakaya on Thursday if Shank can swing that with his voice coach.
Mm.
So that'll be Thursday night dinner.
Okay.
If that's doable. If it's not doable, then I don't know when it'll fit in because, yeah.
I mean, I still haven't tried that horror pizza place.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we could try and hit that on the as we go do the go around at the different.
Do the swing around? I don't think we're ever gonna fit in one vehicle. I mean, we might all fit in a van.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We can take two. It's fine. I don't mind, but I just don't want to make you drive if we don't have to.
Yeah, because I do not like driving in that town.
I know.
I think everyone else is flying in, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But at this point, at this rate, it's just not going to be that many people. So it might be doable.
Okay. All right. So you guys are outside the metalworks, the ironworks. You see a two bay doors that have been chain shut and a small window. The building is kind of box shaped. What would you like to do?
Is there any sign of, anything out of the ordinary? Do we see fresh track or fresh drag marks or anything like that in or around the area?
You see kind of drag marks, but they look like it's happened so often that it's probably related to the work here leading up to those double doors. You see there are two huge smokestacks off the top of the building that it's a squarish building, but then there's these two smokestacks that come out of the building, two chimneys.
Right.
But you don't see any other strangeness that you might.
Are we expecting magic to be used right now? Or are we just looking for him?
We're just looking for him at the moment. But, I mean, you could tell us if there's magic being used right now.
Yeah, I was just wondering if that was something I should look out for. Maybe that'll help us find him. Or the general direction. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Again,
we could definitely try.
I don't think it would hurt.
Alright, then I will cast Detect Magic.
Are you casting that as a ritual?
Do we have 10 minutes?
Yes.
Then sure, yeah.
Then I think we should also look for other entrances besides these big bay doors.
Okay. As you look around, you see that the side of the building it's about 2 stories, maybe even 3 stories, based up for the size. You see there are a couple to the right, and around the corner you see that this box-like building has another smaller box attached to it, and though that box has windows as well that have also been papered over. Making a circuit of the whole building, it looks like the only entrance are the windows, which would have to be broken, and those 2 large doors.
So I think I'm going to get as close as safely to those 2 large doors as I can.
Okay.
Or at least close to the building. If that's where we're going to be entering, then that's a good place to start.
Okay. So you put the ritual together as they're making a circuit of the abandoned metalworks. and you describe what you're doing.
Okay, so I'm gonna get my crystals out, and I'm gonna need to put my incense down because this is ritual. I'm gonna get, and I'm gonna just sit, taking deep breaths, and just opening my senses to it, aligning my sight. I don't know.
As you
So I
go ahead.
stayed with Prue. I didn't go looking around the building. I just stayed there, and I'm still like riding that high from the ring. So I'm like bouncing and like doing things. And while Prue's trying to focus, I'm like, "Did you
So
see?"
this is gonna
I'm
take
like, "Did you see this when this happened?" Like just recounting the entire match to Prue, who was at the match and is trying to focus. But I'm like, "Did you see when the mouse military pressed the moose?"
A concentration check.
Did you
Okay.
take the Did you
If
take
I
the
lose
feet
this
forecast?
concentration check, if I lose this,
She did.
I'm casting sleep. If I lose that.
Before the combat, she'll use one of her spells for sleep.
What is the thing that goes with
Roll,
concentration?
roll me a I think it's a constitution check.
Yeah.
So it'd be 16.
Okay.
That should
You're
be good.
you're able to focus. He's just, you can tell he's really excited.
I've gotten used to this. Okay.
Also, I'm standing a ways back, still kind of keeping an eye on everybody. I'm from a little further away, and I'm just shaking my head.
Okay. You bring up your vision, and you can see, or normally you'd be able to see magical auras. And as you're looking around, you can see the aura of the drum that you have that you've never used. You see the auras of some of the other
I had that.
magical items
That
the
was
characters
that was
have.
his subtle way of reminding you.
It's official.
That was his subtle way of reminding
Very
you that you have
subtle.
it. Super subtle.
Of sending me the stats on that again because I don't know what it is.
Hey, by the way, you've got this magical item you've never used.
I think she left it. She left it with the all hands monster.
I mean, I bet she'd be really good with drums.
You don't see any magic really coming from the. You see dark magic coming from the ironworks, but you can't pinpoint it. And probably because something's in there that is cursed or putting off bad magical energies. As you
It's all around.
as you
That's-
as you look
that's-
back frustrated at Sunshine, who's giving you the stories, you see that his belt is also magical. It's a weaker temporary magic that is kind of flitting away already. But the belt you have over your shoulder, you said, it's putting off
Yeah.
little bits of magic. And that's it.
Did he win that? Did you win that?
Yeah.
I did.
Okay, it's special. Maybe we should wear it.
They're all special.
It's
Yeah,
special.
just in
like you.
case.
To be fair,
Yeah.
he's wearing it the way you're supposed to wear it.
Oh, you said it was over his shoulder.
Yep.
But it's a belt.
Yep.
I don't understand.
Okay, only heels wear their belt like a belt.
Or belt collectors.
Oh my gosh!
Or belt collectors. That's the
Or
only
belt
other time it's acceptable.
You're right. Yeah. Oh my god! Someone needs to be my Paul Heyman.
Now, I will emphasize, when you saw the magic coming off of it, it was definitely temporary. So the magic is leaking off in little bits, and as you focus on it, you can see that because I'm just gonna do it. Normally you need identify or something, but I don't have the time for that. Um, it's going to give him advantages on persuasion checks.
That's just engraved on the back of the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This gives you advantage on persuasion checks.
it's actually
It's like
one of the side
Silvertongue or
plates.
something like that.
Yeah, it's one of the side plates that says advantage on persuasion checks. It's right there, but written in Spanish.
See, what you don't understand is that's what my detect magic ritual gives to me. It like magic writing appears, and that's what happens.
Nice. Is
I don't think we
did
can persuade the demons, so we're good.
did you see anything inside so far?
Yeah, the whole place is bad vibes right now. There's no specific idea on where.
Can you
I will
come over
persuade the locked
here?
Sure.
And I'll take her over to the extra box that's attached to the giant box
Mhm.
where the papered windows are
Yep.
to see if she sees anything there.
No. There isn't even a dark magic coming from there.
Those are definitely boxes.
Yeah,
They're not even bad vibes boxes.
okay. Yeah, he was just using that to describe the structure. They're not actually boxes.
It's two offices that are off the side of the main factory. They're just their
Yeah.
own part of the building.
Yeah, I was just using his
Oh, yeah, they're
terminology.
still very boring boxes of where people work.
Okay. So we
Everything
got-
I said to
Yeah.
you.
What was that?
Yeah,
What
what
was
was that?
We don't have the time for this.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So this is the building. I was just gonna try to describe it until you guys open the doors, but these are the big double doors. This is the window that's papered up, and then there are two papered up windows back here that you guys saw.
We don't see your cursor, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, quick
Two
question.
windows here on the offices that are
Yep.
papered up. A window here that's papered up, and these are the double doors that are chained and padlocked.
I will go back to the chains and padlocks and see if I can start working on them to open them.
Sure.
I can blow them up. Quick question. Because I've missed some of this, what is the tech level of this world
So
area?
they're closer to industrial. So they actually have like cement and like a working metal works, where most of the rest of the stuff that you guys have seen. This is the first time you guys have seen some of the levels of this technology.
Also, how long has this been closed?
You're not sure.
But it's
Well,
been closed long enough
Long enough.
for there to look like it. Well, I can't see personally into the offices right now, but
Correct.
does it look like? I mean, dust on the windows. Well, that would
So
be there anyway.
the windows have like advertisements and stuff that have been pasted to the insides of them.
Did anyone in the town tell us how long it's been closed?
No.
'Cause we forgot.
And Doña Rosa said that Serapio works here,
Yeah, as in actively works
as
here.
in gets paid to work here, and brings home money to help her pay for the apartment.
Okay, so there's a chance it's just closed for the night.
Or
Perhaps.
for the
Or
for
the-
the
Or for the
special
Day
event.
of Remembrance.
right.
Okay, cool. No one.
How large are those windows, Stan? Like the one over here by the double doors?
This window is almost 3 feet wide and about 3 feet
Oh,
tall.
okay.
These windows over here are about the same size. I'm saying over here,
All
you
right.
still can't see what I'm talking about. These ones
Yeah,
are
I got
about
it.
also the same. Yeah.
I
Dang
got
it,
a
okay.
16.
Yeah, you're able to get your small pins and pieces into the lock, and you hear it, and it pops open.
I will quietly gather the others,
Okay.
and
As
I'll
we
let
gather
it.
us up. I'm gonna walk over to you and just kind of and whisper to you.
And exactly how many locked refrigerators do you find in one's kitchen?
So many.
I fear for the food that you prepare. You do understand, correct?
Do you know how many people keep their recipe books under lock and key?
You make a fair point. Do you keep an entire collection encyclopedia?
I will quickly pull a book from my hip that you've never seen that has a giant lock on it, and then it disappears again.
Deep pockets.
Indeed.
Wait, did you just confess to stealing people's recipes because you picked the locks on their books?
No.
Wow, that was one hell of a leap.
Yeah, that went from A to Z.
The entire time this has been going on, by the way, I've been telling Keck the exact same thing I was saying to Kurt.
Oh gosh. And I'm just frozen. You don't even know if I'm alive. Nothing is moving.
He went into inset hibernation.
That's amazing. And once we've got everybody together, I will take the lock off. And where did Prue go?
No.
The purple pea.
Yes. You weren't that far
Um,
off.
Okay, cool.
Okay. New. Okay, so you have everyone collected around you.
And then I will discreetly take the lock off of the giant chains. And
Do you want to give me
Let-
a sleight of hand or a stealth check?
yes, which do you prefer? Or it doesn't matter.
Whichever, it doesn't matter. Whichever is easiest.
It's exactly the same.
Okay.
So
Then it would probably be sleight of hand.
Can I do a perception?
Yeah.
I did a
Is it-
natural 20 for perception.
I did a dirty 20 for sleight of hand.
Ah, damn. No, mine was a natural 20 plus a 7.
But what are you trying to perceive? What are you looking at?
What's he doing with his hands?
Taking the
Oh, I'm
chain off the
literally-
doors.
Yeah, I'm literally taking the lock off
But
of
you
the giant
see-
chains.
You see every step of him removing the chains very deftly.
I'm judging. That's all. I
And then,
A criminal.
I'm doing
what
it
I
in a
mean?
way that it's not going to clank and make noise for 3
and-
blocks.
And you're doing it really, really well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm
I
doing.
assumed that you had removed some kind of fabric and wrapped it around the chain and then started
Correct.
removing the chain. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the chain comes out almost completely silently. Those of you that are right nearby can hear the soft clinks as the chain moves against itself, but it's superbly silent as you maneuver the chain out of the door. The doors are free moving once you remove the chain, so they pull out, and you can even tell as you're moving the chain out, they move a little bit in like back and forth.
So I'll open it one of them just wide enough for all of us to go in one at a time, but I'll also peek inside real quick just to make sure there's not some giant monster inside.
Give me a perception check as you peek inside.
23.
You don't see any giant monsters, but you hear a mutated, softly howling mule, like almost.
I
like
am
a
desperately
soft-
going to need you to make that sound, Dan.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
There are things that I can never unhear in this life.
I could hear the
That was one of
mutated
them.
in the sound.
I just made a clip of that, just FYI.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I was afraid of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that should be my ringtone.
We can make that happen.
For a small fee.
Every once
Yep.
in a while, you're like, "Hey Dan, call me. I need to hear your ringtone."
I just set it to his text tone. That's even better than the Transformers thing. It'll just be.
All right. That's what you hear as you peer into the darkened ironworks. It is
A general direction, specific direction. I don't know what that gets.
Straight back and echoing through the room.
Something at the back of the. Straight back from the opening of the doors. I say.
And then you guys
start
hear
pushing
something.
Keck in.
You hear something clatter, metal on metal, and it's loud. It's something that bangs.
What the hell was
inside.
that?
Yeah, go ahead,
Oh,
Keck.
look at that. You didn't even have to be quiet.
After you, Keck.
Wait, are we inside now?
No, I just opened the door.
Opened the door a little bit, peered
Okay.
inside, and then closed it.
Keck
Well, I
is
didn't close
bored.
it. I'm just trying to push Keck through it right now.
Keck is bored, and he's just going to charge into the into the room and head for the center of the room.
Go kick.
I'm so tired of hearing this wrestling thing. Like, this is stuff that we did in the Hive to play.
All right. So what are we looking at? Where is everyone? Is it just Keck in the middle of the room and everyone else is outside?
Oh no! As soon as Keck makes the move, I'm like, "Oh, cool, we're on!" And I'm like, "In, let's go kick this door down mode."
Okay. All right.
I don't want to go in there. Oh my gosh. I'm next to New, looking probably as disappointed as New does right now.
I mean, I was trying to push Keck in
Oh
there.
yeah, you did push Keck in there. Never mind. I'm just disappointed. No.
I'm going to go in, but I want to be the last one.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I'll go in after. And yeah, I'll go in next unless Siva wants to.
Yeah, I probably will.
Okay, go for it.
Keck looks super annoyed that Sunny Starshine Boy is right next to him.
Where did you want to be, Sunshine?
Next to him.
Right next to him.
They're BFFs. Come on.
You can't let your tag partner go in without you. I need
Oh, you don't know that I was annoyed.
MJF,
Yeah, I know.
The differ, sir.
Okay.
The
tornado
door,
tag.
the door real quick, Dan.
Yeah.
Are there slats on this side that you can secure it?
Yep.
With a bar? Is there something I can use to secure it?
Yep.
I will do that.
Okay. You fit the large wooden stanchion into place. It looks like it was made to be able to do that. It just hadn't been locked that way.
Yeah, because you just locked us in here with a monster.
The
I
warehouse.
did, but I also
Sure.
kept anybody else from coming in.
Yep. Behind you, which is very smart, Mark. Very smart.
I might have played this game once or
The
twice.
warehouse measures about 60 feet by 90 feet and features
Don't lie. We all know this is your first game.
a raised catwalk along two sides, accessible by ladders. Two 15-foot diameter containers are suspended over the warehouse floor by chains, which run up through a winch before descending to a mechanical control console atop the catwalk. Two doors near the console lead to other rooms. You also see this creature rolled up in a ball, on hands and knees, sobbing in that mutated sound, and clawing at himself and the catwalk around him.
I'll give New a nudge.
Yep.
And gesture at the creature that we're looking at.
I don't
Is
suppose
that-
he works here.
I think he does. I think it's the boy. Now, my question is, where is he? Is that the NPC marker?
That's the NPC, and he's up on the catwalk.
Okay,
You can
and
see
does
him because the catwalk is grated material,
Rated floor.
but
yeah.
also it's only 10 or 12 feet up. So I mean, you can see him. He's a large owl bear, shadow owl bear creature
so
So they're
when
gonna
we
take
come?
their turn on the catwalk.
on the catwalk.
No,
Turn on the catwalk.
stole it from me. you bastard. I was just gonna ask if he turned when he saw us.
It didn't make me cringe as bad when he said it, though, Mark.
That happens. Somebody needs to clip that because that happens so rarely.
Yes, it does.
So
That's
rarely.
awesome.
I'm so mad now. I'm gonna pout.
Well played,
It's because
Andres.
I have a
Well,
higher dex modifier. That's the only reason.
That's right. You went
I
first.
went to the higher dex modifier.
Higher dex modifier. I agree.
You all hear in your heads.
yeah,
How do
that's
we
another.
turn him back into the boy so
That's
we can
another
kill
clip.
him when he's weak?
I'm so mad now. I need to pout. That's another one that should be clipped. You're gonna kill him. What was that? Turn him back so you can kill him when he's weak.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what Keck says. I respond, we don't. He's a boy who has no control over this. Let's
just like
subdue
a heavy
him
beating?
first.
What was that, Andres?
So just like a heavy beating,
Right.
we just beat
Yeah,
them a little bit.
yeah, non-lethal damage.
Daniel, I'm probably going to need to have a conversation with you about shrapnel and all the scrap metal with my shatter spell.
Yep. Go on mute really quick.
That's one of the most ominous things Dan has ever
Please
said
don't.
as long as I've known him.
That sounds really bad.
Yeah.
Sunshine and I are basically pincushions.
Yep.
I could dodge out of the way. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Maybe it'll just reflect off the shell.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
You went and looked it up. Remember through. I guess this child has to die.
Well, DM said it.
Wow.
Okay.
And they don't get that as a soundbite.
Unless they heard it through my mic.
No, we
No, we
didn't.
did not.
We were joking last time. You weren't here, Mark, but I was still pushing the stream and everything. And it was funny because it was not a family broadcast.
Well, that's fine.
Naomi was in true Naomi form.
We have warned people about that for this, so that's fine.
Okay.
Teenagers are bad at
there.
Okay.
Their fault.
Actions. Do we want to go to initiative or do you guys want to go freeform until we start combat?
Do not attack
Dan, what
the
time are
child.
you? What time are you wrapping up?
So, a lot depends on the next 5 minutes. If we start combat, straight up, then we will
Combat takes forever.
we will probably pause right at combat. If you guys are able to work a workaround, then maybe 15 more minutes.
All right.
We could stop. We could pause it now. No, like
Does
pause
that mean you want me to kill the child?
I do actually have to
No.
get headed towards
No
that.
killing the
because
child.
Tomorrow's an early day.
Yeah, so why don't we pause it here with everybody positioned here, and then when we start back up next week, if I run next week because I'll be coming home Sunday late, then we should be good picking it up from here. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then what will happen next week, just like this week, we started a little bit later because it's going to be leading into a big kind of conclusion, meetup, possible combat. We will be waiting for everybody to be home. So let's do a start at like 7:30 next week, just like this week.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Yep.
then let's call it that. And if you have anything, Mark, feel free. I'll go back to players and go back to players there. And thank you guys very much for playing. You guys are an amazing group to GM for, and I love hanging out with you. And you always make me laugh, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you for
so
running,
much.
Dan. Other than that, thank you for each of you playing. Like I said, it's one of my highlights of my week, so I'm glad I was able to attend. Sorry for missing last week. We're going to raid out to Juan Does Stuff. He's playing Deltarune. So if you are a subscriber, copy the second message. If you're not, no worries. Copy the first message. Just let them know you're there. Show them some love. We're going to head that direction. I appreciate everybody who came and joined. All 68 of you that are lurking, chatting, interacting. Appreciate all of you. We'll be back. We will not be broadcasting tomorrow night. I have work stuff that I have to do right during the middle of stream, unfortunately, because I'm talking to Denmark tomorrow night. So we'll be back on Wednesday at 4:45 p.m. Pacific, 6:45 Central, 7:45 Eastern for AEW Dynamite. Live reactions and reviews. Join us for that. Shank will be in the studio at that point, and we will see you then. Until next time, as always, be excellent to each other. Of course, game on.
Game on.
Game on.